At the dawn of the 19th century, the United States was a young and fragile nation, stretched along the Atlantic coast and uncertain of its future. Its independence was barely a generation old. Its economy depended heavily on agriculture and trade, and its western border was defined not by clear lines on a map, but by rivers, forests, and foreign powers. Beyond the Appalachian Mountains lay vast lands controlled by European empires, and among them, the most critical territory was Louisiana, a massive region centered on the Mississippi River and the port city of New Orleans. Control of this land would determine whether the United States could grow in peace or remain vulnerable to foreign pressure. For American farmers, especially those in Kentucky and Tennessee, the Mississippi River was the lifeline of commerce. Crops traveled downriver to New Orleans, where they were shipped to markets around the world. Whoever controlled New Orleans controlled the economic future of the American interior. In the 1790s, Spain governed Louisiana and generally allowed American access to the river. But in 1800, a secret treaty transferred the territory from Spain to France. When news reached Washington that Napoleon Bonaparte, the powerful ruler of France, now held Louisiana, alarm spread quickly. France was a formidable military power, and its presence in North America posed a direct threat to American security and independence. President Thomas Jefferson understood the danger. He believed the survival of the United States depended on free access to the Mississippi River and on preventing powerful European nations from establishing permanent dominance on the continent. Yet Jefferson also faced a dilemma. He was a strict interpreter of the Constitution and doubted whether it granted the federal government the authority to acquire foreign territory. Despite these concerns, the risks of inaction were greater. Jefferson concluded that diplomacy, rather than war, was the only viable path forward. In 1802, tensions escalated when Spain, still administering Louisiana on France's behalf, briefly revoked American rights to store goods in New Orleans. The move caused outrage among American settlers and politicians, some of whom openly called for war. Jefferson instead chose negotiation. He sent James Monroe to join the American minister in France, Robert Livingston, with instructions to purchase New Orleans and nearby lands. Congress authorized up to $10 million for the effort, a significant sum at the time. But the goal was limited: secure the river and the port, not an empire. Events in Europe and the Caribbean soon transformed the situation. Napoleon's ambitions in the New World began to collapse under the weight of disease and resistance. In the French colony of Saint-Domingue, modern-day Haiti, a massive slave revolt turned into a successful revolution, destroying France's largest and most profitable overseas possession. Yellow fever devastated French troops, and the dream of a renewed French Empire in North America faded. At the same time, war with Great Britain loomed once again, and Napoleon needed money more than land he could no longer defend. In this moment of strategic necessity, France made an unexpected move. Instead of negotiating over New Orleans alone, French officials offered to sell all of Louisiana to the United States. The territory stretched from the Mississippi River to the Rocky Mountains, and from the Gulf of Mexico to present-day Canada. Its size was staggering, encompassing more than 800,000 square miles and effectively doubling the nation's land overnight. Livingston and Monroe were astonished. They lacked explicit authority to agree to such a purchase, but they recognized the historic opportunity before them. In 1803, the United States agreed to buy Louisiana for $15 million, roughly 4 cents an acre. The price included the assumption of French debts owed to American citizens and represented one of the most extraordinary land deals in history. When word reached Jefferson, his excitement was tempered by constitutional anxiety. He briefly considered seeking a constitutional amendment to authorize the purchase, fearing that the deal might exceed his legal powers. Time, however, was not on his side. Napoleon could change his mind, or Britain could seize the territory by force. Ultimately, Jefferson accepted the treaty and sent it to the Senate for ratification. The Senate approved the Louisiana Purchase later that year, and in December 1803, the United States formally took possession of the territory. Without a single battle or shot fired, the nation had transformed itself. The Mississippi River was secured, New Orleans became firmly American, and the threat of a powerful European empire on the nation's western border disappeared. The young republic now possessed vast lands rich in resources, farmland, and untold possibilities. The consequences of the Louisiana Purchase were profound and far-reaching. Economically, it opened millions of acres to agriculture, trade, and settlement, fueling the growth of a nation of farmers, merchants, and entrepreneurs. Strategically, it ensured American control of the continent's central waterways and strengthened national security. Politically, it expanded the power of the federal government and set a precedent for future territorial expansion, even as it raised difficult questions about constitutional authority and governance. Yet the purchase also carried deep and lasting consequences that Jefferson himself could not fully foresee. As settlers moved westward, the expansion intensified conflicts with Native American nations, leading to displacement, broken treaties, and decades of violence. The question of whether new territories would allow slavery reopened fierce debates that would eventually push the nation toward civil war. The Louisiana Purchase created opportunity and unity, but it also magnified the moral and political contradictions at the heart of the American experiment. For France, the sale marked the end of its ambitions in North America. Napoleon redirected his focus to Europe, where years of war would reshape the continent. For the United States, the acquisition confirmed its destiny as a continental power. What had once been a narrow nation clinging to the Atlantic coast now had room to grow, explore, and redefine itself. Expeditions such as the journey of Lewis and Clark soon followed, mapping the new lands and bringing the vast interior into the American imagination. The Louisiana Purchase of 1803 stands as one of the most consequential decisions in American history. It was born not from conquest, but from diplomacy, timing, and bold leadership. In a single agreement, the United States doubled its size, secured its future, and altered the balance of power in the New World. What began as a desperate effort to protect a river and a port became the moment when a young republic stepped onto the path of continental expansion, forever changing the shape, purpose, and destiny of the nation.